Anytime, Lily.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And before I begin, I would just like to extend a heartfelt thank you to the organizers and the judges of this event. I feel truly honored to be able to participate today. Now, we cannot talk about AI without talking about humanity. Humans have had a part in AI all the way back to 1959 when the original logic theorist was created. And one component of humanity that separates us from the rest of the animal kingdom is our ability to change our environments and societies. Because of this, we have been able to create inventions and products that have forever changed our world. But anything that has such a drastic impact on our lives will undoubtedly do so in both positive and negative ways. This is, of course, the same for AI, and it is imperative that we recognize its benefits in addition to its faults if we wish to positively incorporate it into our future. The first matter I'd like to address is AI's massive impact on the internet. It has been found that approximately 65% of the global population is online. Considering this, it is especially noteworthy that the Europol Innovation Lab deducted that by 2026, 90% of all content online will be AI generated. This is especially concerning because it will undoubtedly cause a rise in misinformation, particularly due to a phenomenon known as AI self-cannibalization, in which AI trains itself on previous outputs. Additionally, AI has been an especially controversial term among creators. Recently, enterprises behind chatbots and image generators have been under fire for allegedly stealing artwork to train their AIs, with lawsuits even being leveled against OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT and DALL-E, for copyright infringement. Artists are taking measures to protect their projects, such as the implementation of Glaze, a tool that will modify minimally artwork so that it is protected against AI that uses it to train. However, many still feel as though they are fighting an unwinnable uphill battle. What does it say about our societal value of individuality and creativity if we allow the domain to be dominated by automations? Simultaneously, employers are analyzing how we could seamlessly incorporate AI into the workforce. Already, studies are being conducted that seek to determine how effective they could be in various everyday jobs. One such study, led by the National Bureau of Economic Research, sought to determine the effects of introducing a generative AI program to the lives of over 5,000 customer support agents. The result was a 14% increase in efficiency, of which clients' issues were resolved. There are many more benefits which could, of course, be applied to these fields, as was discussed by famed physicist James Timby in his interview with Stanford News. For example, it can increase productivity, could lower production costs, as well as offer 24/7 availability to both employers and clients. We're only scratching the surface of what AI can do in the workforce, and thus far it is astonishing. In the end, it is unavoidable that AI will become intricately and inseparably linked with our daily lives. As Dr. Fei-Fei Li said, quote, "If our era is the next industrial revolution, as many claim, then AI is certainly one of its leading forces," end quote. So as we approach this new and exciting future with haste, we must keep in mind that AI is an aid and not necessarily an answer. While it can support creativity and productivity, that does not mean it can manufacture it independently. And so, by analyzing the effects that it's had on the internet, by considering what it's done to the creative community, before finally observing how it could impact our future in the workforce, we can hope to deepen our collective knowledge on this topic so that we can build a strong foundation for our future with this incredible technology. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aspen, and congratulations for being a finalist. So I'm gonna ask you to take up to 2 minutes to answer a question from Ben Wang.
Great, thank you so much. That's a great presentation. You mentioned this idea about to try to balance our primary objective of using AI to advance, to benefit, humanity, at the same time, without being kind of substitute for creativity or individualism. I was just wonder, for what would be your kind of a strategy, something you can suggest? You talked about some of the principles, right? The balance and be very cautious, be mindful. Those are great. But just out of my own curiosity, do you have any strategies based on the knowledge or understanding you have? How would you suggest to whether it's policymakers, academics, people who are using AI to develop that kind of not just only awareness, but also some practical, so-called best practice people can learn from?
So thank you so much for your question, Director Yang. And I find it to be a really fascinating topic as, like, of course, I did touch on in my essay. And it is so difficult to try to find a way to balance how we use AI to continue to allow it to evolve, while also not hindering already, creative field without replacing too many jobs or destabilizing industries. And because it's so fast advancing, I find that our morals and our ethics are having a very hard time keeping up. So I feel that the best thing we can do, the best strategy we can employ at the moment, while everything is changing so rapidly, is focus on informing our society collectively so we can begin to develop the proper ethics of which to address these issues. Because we've already seen, obviously, difficulties of copyright. Several authors, even the New York Times has begun suing OpenAI, the company behind, as I've said before, ChatGPT and DALL-E, for copyright infringement. So if we can find a way to collectively inform our society on the benefits, the difficulties, the positives, as well as the negatives of AI, I feel that we could better create policies that would, allow us to utilize a tool without necessarily causing a strain on already human-dominated fields.
No, that's great. I'm just wondering, have you observed, of course, it's a very difficult, it's an ongoing process in terms of developing comprehensive policy, ethics, and the practice. But have you noticed currently there's something worthwhile, say in one aspect, you think, I noticed this, I heard about that, I read about that, that, and that could be something we can learn and can benefit from.
I feel like during my research, one of the ways that I found was most effective to control, over bloating of AI content on the internet and misuse of AI content online and in our daily lives even, was the protocols used by Amazon. Because of course, when ChatGPT, especially the second and third modules were released, I believe we're on the 4th edition of it, people began just creating books, either comic strips with the image generators or just full novels with the generative AI programs, and uploading them to sell, which of course is unethical because they may be pulling from, plagiarized, copyrighted sources. So what they did was, you cannot ban this, you cannot make it illegal. So was put a limit of 3 books that one person could publish a day. So I feel like if a model like that was adopted on a much wider scale, then we could see success with mitigating some of the more negative aspects of AI in our lives.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aspen. I've learned a lot from what you just said there in your response, and thank you very much, Mr. Yang. So, Aspen, here's a second question from Brock University's Alicia Kumpfel.
Great. Thank you, Aspen, for your presentation, and I really enjoyed reading your essay. I thought you were very reflective about the pros and cons about AI, and just diving into the question, kind of piggybacking on Director Yang, was you mentioned how there's an increase in approximately 65% of the global population using the internet, and how the formulation of fake news or misinterpretation of media is being utilized. So what strategies would you recommend for users to protect themselves from fake news or media navigating this world of AI?
Thank you so much for your question. So I feel as though there are many ways that we could start, as individuals, navigating a world in which AI is much more prominently featured, both in our real life and both online. So one of the most important things that I know of is to keep in mind what you're reading might be fake, which of course in the recent years we've seen a rise of disinformation in many topics. So that is something that people are far more conscious of. But with AI, people are more prone to believing it because of how professionally it can be phrased, because of how incredibly it can be written. However, we need to keep in mind that whatever we're reading can be false. And that even if you're slightly suspicious of any information, there are ways that you can actually use AI to check if something is AI by running it through a generative program and asking it, is this real? Is this fake? Did you write this? And so I feel that could be just one of our primary and easiest ways to start addressing the topic. And then the next topic is actually, I found that if you type before 2023, and you put a colon and then your topic, you can find a variety of articles that were released before the popularization of AI. So if you're feeling that what you're typing at the moment is giving a lot of, false or at least shady answers, you can apply that technique to see if maybe what you're getting at the moment is not actually real and is more the result of synthetic.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And every student listening, there's a lot of wisdom in what Aspen just said.